Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And so apparently WWE made some breaking news that John PG Bitch Cena has been announced as the host for WrestleMania 42. So let me get this fucking straight, WWE. Your ticket sales suck. You can't build a WrestleMania correctly. So now you, on top of the ticket sales being decreased twice, might I add, because they can't sell it out, okay, because it's not a wrestling town, and because the prices are outrageous. On top of that, now what they want to do is they want to have John Cena be the host because he's retired now. So now they're going to make him the host of WrestleMania, right? This is stupid. And it proves the desperation that WWE has, okay? The fact that this was announced so late proves that WWE doesn't care anymore. It's desperation. Cena's retired, and now they're having him in the spotlight as the host because they can't use him for in-ring stuff. So now they're going to make him a host. And I know they've been doing the host thing for WrestleMania for a while. I'm not teed off about that. It's the whole idea. We're this close to WrestleMania, and they're like, ticket sales are down. Nobody likes the build. Let's just bring in Cena as a host. That's the desperation for it. This is fucking dumb. Okay, and it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anyone's perception of the card. The card is terrible. I mean, I could make a ton of videos about in every individual match and every individual storyline, okay, that they've been doing and how shitty they've been, okay, and how this WrestleMania. But I don't like putting out 10 different videos for 10 different things here. Because that just seems kind of like a waste of time. Okay. That's not quality, that's quantity right there. And I don't think I would give my best foot forward if I had to do that many times talking about each damn WrestleMania match. But this WrestleMania has been trash, okay? Cena is the host. Sami Zayn magically is the United States champion, and goddamn, why? Oh, he gets a match now. Oh yeah, that's the story, guys. That's the story. I'm the U.S. champion, so that means I get a match. I get a match, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm the U.S. champ. So now I get a WrestleMania match, and Trick Williams, who was already going to be in a wrestling match, according to Nick Aldis. Now I'm gonna be wrestling, god damn it. I'm gonna be wrestling for the U.S. title. It's fucking stupid. You know what I mean there? It's just dumb. Like, what are we doing? What is WWE doing? Okay, it reeks of desperation. The fact that LA Knight, is still not in a WrestleMania match is ridiculous. Even though I'm not a big fan of Gunther, the fact that Gunther is not in a wrestling match at WrestleMania after retiring 3 stars, okay, that's just insane to me. Okay, now I know the reports are saying that Gunther was supposed to face Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, but because he got injured right before the Rumble, that they didn't have a backup plan for Gunther. But to that, I would say, why the fuck do you not have a backup plan for a guy who retired 3 wrestlers? 3 top-tier wrestlers were retired by Gunther within the last year and this year, okay? Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles, okay? Were all retired within this year, or last year and this year, okay? So if 3 top stars have been retired by this guy, why is he not in a WrestleMania match 3 weeks out? Okay, 3 weeks out of WrestleMania, and he's not in a WrestleMania match. He's not in a storyline. What kind of illogical logic is that? Okay, if anything, to figure out who he should face. This is the problem with WWE. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to do. Other than the world title matches, they don't know what they want to do. You know, Punk Roman obviously sells itself, okay? And even though it's mostly just been them talking and, you know, occasionally hitting each other, you know, it has been the most interesting feud going into WrestleMania. And it should be, because it is the main event, night 2 main event, okay? It is the main event, okay? Outside of that, I don't have any interest in any of these other matches, and including Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Even though I like that they're doing the match, okay? I like they're doing the match between Cody and Randy Orton, because I do think it was the best match they could have possibly done for this year's WrestleMania. Because I didn't think Drew McIntyre versus Cody again was a good idea. The only way I think it could have worked is if it was the Hell in a Cell match, like was possibly proposed. But even then, people were still droned out of the match already by that point. You know, because that was a proposed match. But Cody versus Randy, even though I know people only want it because it's a dream match, out of all the scenarios that we could have had for the WWE Championship match, that was the best one to go with. You know, and I'm not saying that Cody versus Randy was a good idea because it's a dream match or whatever. You know, like a lot of people have been clamoring. I think it's the best match that we could have gotten for the WWE Championship match this year with Punk versus Roman. With Punk versus Roman, that to me was the best option that they could go with. And I made a video about that already about a week ago, talking about it. But the problem with that match, and the reason why I'm not interested in that match, is because they basically are trying to tell you that Randy Orton is the bad guy in this in this feud, and the fans will not allow it. The fans are cheering for Randy. You know, he broke Zack Ryder's arm. Yes, I'm calling him Zack Ryder, because, yeah. He broke Zack Ryder's arm, okay? And then the fans proceeded to say one more time, one more time, one more time, just like how Kane threw Zack Ryder through the damn stage with his wheelchair, okay, type shit, okay? He just RKO'd Jelly Roll. And apparently, again, that was another ditch effort to get people to boo Randy Orton, which I don't know why people thought that that they were going to boo Randy Orton because they RKO'd Jelly Roll. If anything, people were going to cheer for that. Like, I just think WWE just doesn't know what they're... Again, WWE does not know what they are doing. Even within a world title match, they don't know really what they're doing. They're selling it off of name recognition. They're selling that feud off of name recognition, and that's it. For the night 1 main event. Okay? You know, but there's not really any interest in the match. Outside of the fact that it is a dream match to people, and that WWE, the fans are telling you that Orton is the good guy in this, even though WWE basically are trying to get people to cheer for Cody. You know, and this is the thing too, and I'm going to say this again. If WWE keeps going down this path, Cody is going to be the most hated guy in the company. I said this for the fans' perspective. I said this 2 months ago after the Royal Rumble when he eliminated LA Knight. Okay, that was a stupid fucking decision. LA Knight is the most over fucking guy in that company. Okay? And I don't care. I mean, this is a brick wall. We've been fucking saying it for months. We've been saying it for years now. LA Knight is the most over guy in that company. He gets freaking mega reactions every time he comes out. Even last week. Right? He has been mega over. I am concerned about the arm being possibly injured. LA Knight just shrugged it off. But he has not worked since Elimination Chamber. I mean, he has gotten physical with Logan Paul, hitting him, but notice Logan never retaliated. Nobody retaliated against LA Knight when he got physical. So I am kind of concerned about LA Knight because I am wondering if they're hiding an injury for LA Knight on his elbow there. But it seems like he's shrugging that off. We'll see what happens with LA Knight. Hopefully we get something today. But again, the point being is this card is terrible. And the idea that they're waiting possibly on Braun Breaker, possibly coming back from a hernia, which I think is a mistake. I think that is a monumental mistake. If they are going to try to wait until the last second for Braun Breaker to get cleared, a week before WrestleMania or 2 weeks before WrestleMania, I think that is a mistake because you are rushing a talent back before they're fully healed just to get them at WrestleMania. I think that is a terrible mistake by WWE because you're going to hurt his future if he re-aggravates a hernia. That's not a good injury to have. And to force somebody to come back early on. Okay? That is not an injury you want to force somebody to come back early on. Okay? He should be taking the full 6 weeks. But also the fact that they are waiting for Braun Breaker tells me that WWE is lacking talent, lacking confidence in the talent. Because you have a full roster of people that aren't being used. There are a lot of people that are actively not injured right now that are not being used, right? They are not being used, and yet you're waiting for somebody. You're waiting for him to come back. You're waiting for Rey Mysterio to come back, okay? Instead of having backup plans for the other guys that are being affected by their storyline not happening because one of the talents is injured, okay? That, to me, is the problem with WWE. It's like, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have a backup plan for these guys. Okay? Triple H got injured at WrestleMania 23. They had a backup plan, and that was Shawn Michaels, okay, versus John Cena. Okay? They had a backup plan. Okay? This is something that Triple H doesn't seem to grasp, that he needs a backup plan if somebody gets injured. This isn't rocket science. Like, why are we not building properly? And yes, I know the Vision has had bad luck with the injuries, but you have to have a backup plan for these guys. Okay? And let's just talk about the entire card because we haven't really seen what the card is. We've seen Sami Zayn randomly get a U.S. Open Challenge match win because Trick Williams attacked Carmelo Hayes. And now it's Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. And Carmelo Hayes is just hanging on the bags, not doing anything at WrestleMania now. Instead of being inserted into the match, which any sane person would have allowed. Okay. But that's the problem. There's no proper build for these matches. Other than the world title matches, which even the Cody match was clunked. You got Jacob Fatu and Drew. Obviously fighting the entire show was kind of interesting, but very unrealistic. But I mean, Has it been interesting to me? No, I'm not really interested in Drew and Jacob as a storyline, because they ruined it. They ruined it back in January. They ruined it back in January because Jacob Fatu returned to basically help Drew McIntyre inadvertently win the WWE Championship, right? And someone brought up like a bunch of unsolved mysteries for WWE, and that was one of them. Is like, who took out Jacob Fatu? Who took out Jacob Fatu? And even Drew McIntyre in the storyline is basically saying, I am basically being, you know, guilty until proven innocent. You know, he basically even alludes to the fact that he is being uncharacterized by all these wrestlers that just assume that he's guilty. So this is another problem, is that Jacob Fatu, we do not know who actually kayfabed injured him on television, you know, last year. Excuse me. People just assume it's Drew McIntyre because, you know, he attacked him when he came back and inadvertently helped him win the cage match. But it was never explicitly stated by Jacob Fatu that Drew McIntyre did do this to me. Okay? So I am not interested in this match because they have missed the mark in the storytelling of this match, of this feud. And it's an unsanctioned match, no less, which, look, I'm not a fan of unsanctioned matches because if it's an unsanctioned match, that means the match is not sanctioned by WWE, which means the match wouldn't be happening anyways. I've never been a fan of unsanctioned matches. Even in AEW to a certain, because I think AEW does it more often than WWE does, but I still don't like it. And that's the reason. I don't like it because it's like, what the fuck? You know, you couldn't do like false count anywhere. Last man standing match would have made more sense. Why couldn't they have Jacob and Drew in a last man standing match? That to me would have made more sense. Oh yeah, the Hell in a Cell ditched idea for Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Because to me, there is no selling point right now with this match because it's heel Randy Orton being a babyface to the fans, and Cody Rhodes, who's supposed to be the babyface, is the heel to the fans. Okay, the fans view him as the heel. Okay, in this storyline. Okay, even though WWE views him as the babyface. Okay, problem with that is there is literally nothing that's going to change people's mind to boo Randy Orton. So at this point, the only thing I think that can save this match is that they have this match be a Hell in a Cell match. And I heard proposals, you know, before they announced that the Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre match was going to be unsanctioned. I heard rumors that they might make that a Hell in a Cell match. You might as well just go back to the world title match or the WWE Championship match being a Hell in a Cell match because it's not going to top the Roman. This match is already slated to be night one no matter what. You know, make it interesting. Make it a Hell in a Cell. Just make it a Hell in a Cell. You know, I know like end the feud or whatever. That's people view the Hell in a Cell matches is supposed to end the feud before the pay-per-view thing concept happened, but in all reality, that's not actually true. Okay, that's really not actually. The Hell in a Cell match, first one, okay, the first one in 1997 was not the end of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's feud. As a matter of fact, just lost the title at SummerSlam because Michaels was the referee. They had never wrestled, you know, on pay-per-view prior to that. And they hadn't wrestled each other on pay-per-view because Michaels was the referee. So Undertaker and Michaels' first pay-per-view match of being in a proper feud was Bad Blood for that in that Hell in a Cell match. And then, of course, a couple months later, they did have a match, and they had a casket match at the Rumble. Where, Michaels infamously broke his back on. But my point being is this whole idea and myth that, the Hell in a Cell is supposed to end the feuds. Well, yes, for the most part, it's supposed to end the feuds. That does not necessarily mean that it can't be a personal rivalry where you use the Hell in a Cell. I think Orton and Cody at this point is at that crossroads where you could make it a Hell in a Cell match. But that's my whole things on WrestleMania. WrestleMania is just stupid and it's desperation. John Cena being the host is desperation. Well, watch them announce that Cena, while he's the host of this year's WrestleMania, is going to be in the Hall of Fame next year, right? Because it seems like he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. So watch them announce that too, right? But yeah, not a fan of what's going on with WrestleMania. Not a fan of Cena being the host because, let's face it, he's just a figurehead. Rock started it with WrestleMania 27, but at least Rock had authority power when he was the host because if you remember, he basically restarted the Miz and Cena match when it ended in a double countout. He at least had authority power, where it seems like all future hosts since The Rock have had no authority power to restart matches and shit like that. So yeah, not happy with it. Let me know what you guys think of my thoughts on WrestleMania. Right now, comment, rate, flex this my views. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell for the next content. Thank you, and that's about it, guys. I am Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure to follow me on the Twitch, the Instagram, and I do have a Discord link in the description where we discuss various topics, including this one here. Now I'm out. Peace.